Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hey, this is EAJ-Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I don't give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Escow.
Jeff
Doing my time. Doing my time. Got myself a problem.
from San Diego. It's Sports World Radio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What in the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Ascow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Ascow and Sean Mann.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Sports World Radio. Glad everybody could be with us today. We got a jam-packed show for you guys. Lots and lots to talk about. There's an ugly dude on my TV right now. His name is Floyd Mayweather, and he's on ESPN, and he's a joke, and I hope Pacquiao kicks his ass. Now, with that being said, let's start this show off with a bang. What do you say? Hey, kids, SportsWorldRadio.com is the place to listen to the show 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West, and if you live in the Central,
if you people live in the Central, figure that out for yourself. I'm so sick and tired of having to repeat myself.
well, you're going to be repeating yourself for many, many years to come, my friend. SportsWorldRadio.com is the place to listen. If you want to come and hang out in the chat room, we're over at Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. 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 Get on over there. Type in Sports World Radio. If you don't have an account, it's free. Get yourself a free account. Type in Sports World Radio. Will pop up at the bottom of your screen. All the way over to the right, just click the bubble right there, and the chat room will open up, and you can start chatting away. Now, if you don't want to do all that, and you just want to hang out on SportsWorldRadio.com, but you want to get in touch with the show, give us a call at 619-663-3715, 619-663-3715, or you can get in touch with us via Skype, Sports World Radio Show, via Skype, Sports World Radio Show, or send us an email at swrshow@gmail.com. That's swrshow@gmail.com. Or I'm actually hanging out on Facebook today, so you can Facebook us at our Facebook page at facebook.com/sportsworldradio. That's facebook.com/sportsworldradio. And while you're doing that, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/sportsworldradio. That's twitter.com/sportsworldradio. Now, with all the particulars, there's one more particular I got to get out of the way before we get going with the show. If you're hanging out at Sports World Radio, and even if you're not on SportsWorldRadio.com, head on over there later, after the show, during the show, I don't care. Just do it. Click the donate button and donate to the cause, to Sports World Radio, and help us keep us doing what we'd like to do, and that's sports talk entertainment for you guys, and we like to have a lot of fun, and we bring in all sorts of different people. So donate to the cause and keep us going. You know, we need some new computers and all that, so donate and help us keep us doing what we like to do here, and that's entertain you with sports talk. So that's the donate button at sportsworldradio.com. All right, now with all the particulars out of the way, what do you say? Hey, we bring in that crazy co-host of ours. It's his last day of the week because he's going on vacation starting tomorrow. Sean Mann, the update man. What's going on, buddy?
I'm doing good, Jeff, and welcome everybody to Sports World Radio on the 11th of March, 2015, 6:08 p.m. on the East Coast, 3:08 p.m. on the West. Shout out to Josh Lopez. Shout out to Jeff Escow. Weather right now has been sprinkling today. It's been a little bit wet, kind of the feel of spring weather, your typical spring weather. It's like in the 40s, but it's nice and cool. How are you, Jeff, and how's the weather in San Diego?
I'm doing fantastic, and the weather is freaking beautiful like always. It's sunny San Diego. What do you freaking expect, man?
Sunny San Diego. And Josh, I have every right to be proud of the Red Sox beating the Yankees today in spring training. And he was, look at him. He's shaking his head. Please rip him.
You won't believe this. Jeff Schoen was touting and sticking his chest out about the Red Sox beating 6-2 spring training. Big freaking deal. Spring training, it don't mean
I
crap.
was happy that they won. There's nothing the matter with that. You're happy to see your teams back, and it's spring training.
It don't mean crap, dude.
Josh, thanks a lot, buddy.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. When they start the season, what's everybody's record?
0-0 when
Okay.
the season starts.
Exactly. So these games that they're playing now don't mean crap.
They don't count, but I still enjoy watching them. There
Yeah.
you go.
You know what I think about these games right now?
Thanks a lot. Yeah,
You're welcome.
at least I enjoy watching baseball because it's my first favorite season.
Well, my first favorite season. How about your first favorite sport?
First favorite sport, yeah. And then hockey number 2, and then NBA number 3, and NFL
How
number 4.
dare you put NBA number 3? How dare you?
What do you mean, how dare I?
That's right. How dare you put NBA number 3? I've watched more NBA. I've watched more basketball in 5 days than I've watched all of baseball season put together. I don't watch a lot of baseball anymore. I don't know why. It's your
I
fault.
like NHL because it's fast-paced, and when the playoffs begin, there's a definite playoff feel when the
NHL.
hockey playoffs
And
start.
now all of a sudden you're talking about the NHL?
What do you mean? It's my second favorite sport. I
That's
am a Bruins fan.
It should go Major League Baseball. It should go NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, and then football.
No, because at this time of year, it's my favorite time of the year with it being spring, and with MLB coming up, you have the
Okay,
baseball
but let
field.
me ask you a question. What's happening at this time of the year right now?
The NCAA tournament.
Exactly. Exactly, you rat bastards. The NCAA tournament's coming on now. If you haven't joined our NCAA tournament, I'm going to put the link into the chat room right now for you to go ahead and join our NCAA tourney.
I signed up. I'm in. Jeff is in. Browning is in. And I saw Josh was in.
Josh is in. Yeah, I got a little bone to pick with Josh, but you know what? I'm going to wait to pick that bone with Josh on Friday. Because on Friday, he's going to have a voice. See, right now, he doesn't have a voice. All he's got is a typing thing going on. So I'm going to wait till Friday before I pick my bone with Josh so he can actually explain and have the voice. Because today's Sean's last show of the week. Frank Sprankle will be sitting in for Sean on tomorrow. And then on Friday's show, the producer and program director himself, Josh Lopez, will be sitting in for Josh on Friday's show for the whole 2 hours. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to pick that bone with you on Friday, Josh.
Oh, Josh, you better be ready. Josh says he even Skyped with me, okay? He's getting on me about spring training, but he said he had a bone to pick with both of us, right, Josh, about something, but he'll wait for that.
Okay, so
soon.
Josh, if you want to call in right now, buddy, call in and you can pick that bone. And if you want, I'll pick the bone with you right now. We'll do it right on the air right now. I don't care. You know me. We flow any way we want to go here at Sports World Radio. You want to call in, Mr. Program Director and Producer of the show? You go right ahead.
All right, here's
ain't
some
gonna
of the big
scare
story
me any.
headlines. Last night, the New York Jets, they made
Tell
some
you that.
news yesterday, which angered me because Darrelle Revis, who had his option declined by New England, heading back to the place where it all started for him. Back to the New York Jets, signing a $70 million contract to go back to the Jets.
Ha.
Oh, sure. Ha ha. Very funny, Jeff. I'm really not for me it isn't. I was very angry and very fed up about it.
Okay, the program and producer of the show is calling in right now.
Oh, great. Here we go.
Hello, Mr. Program Producer. How are you?
How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you doing, Joshy?
Frustrated.
Why is that?
Twiddling my thumbs, not doing anything. Anyway,
How's your new haircut?
it's all right.
Yeah?
I got a buzz cut. I mean, it's a buzz cut, so.
It's a buzz cut, huh?
How about be bald?
Well, hey, don't mess with bald people, dude.
I'm not going to mess with bald people.
I am bald. Don't mess with bald people.
Oh, yeah. So, Josh, you said on a Skype call before we went on the air, you had a bone to pick with Jeff and I.
Uh-huh.
Yes, my bone that I have to pick is the fact that you guys don't want the NFL draft to be in Chicago. That's my bone I want to pick.
Well, we were talking with Frank yesterday about that very same thing. Now, listen, I don't like the idea that they got a runner running from one hotel to another hotel with a piece of paper in their hand with the pick in their hand. I hope it's freaking pouring, thunderstorming rain. That's just, haven't they ever heard of a freaking iPad before?
They probably could say this: "Hey, Mr. Escow or Mr. Lopez, we'll pay you a lot of money if you run back and forth with a piece of
But that's not a Chicago thing. That's an NFL thing.
That's
so why take it
stupid.
out on Chicago?
But if they were in New York, they wouldn't be doing that, would they?
Oh, don't give me that crap.
Would they?
It's the NFL. They'll do it in L.A., Portland, Idaho. It don't matter.
Oh,
They
leave
don't-
Idaho out
Idaho.
of the land of spuds.
Hey, what has Idaho got to do with it? They never put in the.
What does
Listen,
Chicago have to do with something that the NFL decided that they want to do
Listen.
for their draft?
I'll bet Sean's life that the NFL draft never goes to Idaho.
I wouldn't blame them.
Welcome. The NFL draft is in Spokane, Washington. I'll just drive 45 minutes there and go to the big events.
That
Yeah,
ain't.
Roger
That
Goodell,
ain't.
You want a bag of potatoes?
Actually, you know something. That might happen if Seattle goes to the freaking Super Bowl again. That just might happen.
Oh God.
You know.
Great.
I just
How
don't. Why screw up a tradition?
Oh.
Talk with Peter O'Reilly. Peter O'Reilly was the
Jackass.
one who set that whole thing up. That we're gonna have events.
But is Peter
fun things.
O'Reilly from Chicago?
I don't.
You
want to
know something? Listen, the NFL is screwing the game up so bad. You got guys retiring before the age of 30.
No, I just think it's a BS argument to say, oh, if it's in New York, oh, things would be all fine and perfect because it's tradition or whatever.
It's
Oh,
tradition.
so Chicago can never have anything? Everything's always got to be in the West Coast or the East Coast?
It's tradition.
right.
We can't have the World Series. We can't have WrestleMania. We
I
can't
didn't
have
know.
the Super
No,
Bowl.
I-
We
hey,
can't
hey,
have the NBA All-Star Game.
Hey,
We
listen,
can't have this or that.
Hey, listen, Skip Bayless. I'm not the
Skip
one that
Bayless,
said that.
How you call me Skip Bayless when I'm calling facts?
Because, no, I'm not the one who said you can't have anything in Chicago. I just don't like the fact. Listen, I like the NFL doing their draft in New York. I grew up that way. That's the way it should be. It's tradition, for Jiminy Cricket's sakes. I'm sure there's plenty of Chicago traditions. Correct? I have no problem with WrestleMania being in Chicago. I have no problem with the World Series being in Chicago. And I even have no problem with the NBA Finals being in Chicago. How about that? As long as it's not in Cleveland. Okay, I have no problem with that. None. I just don't like I don't like what the NFL is doing, moving it to Chicago and screwing it all up.
But that doesn't mean you have to seek a freaking thunderstorm and hail and snow all over the city.
Yes, I do, because
when
I
it's
need to.
freaking May.
Yes, I do, because I need to prove a point that they shouldn't have moved it to Chicago in the first place.
If you were living here, I bet you wouldn't want that to happen.
If you listen, you're a football fan and you live there and you're not even going. What does that say to the NFL?
Who said I wasn't going?
Frank's not going.
Okay, but Frank doesn't speak for me.
I asked you if you were going. You said no.
Oh, God.
Okay, so are you going?
Most likely. I mean, the theater is literally right around the corner from my school.
So you're going to get to sit in the stands all day long and fall asleep while that shit's going on, right? Because that's what's going to happen. You know that as well as I do.
Hey, man, people say I don't do anything but waste time.
You're going to go
For
there,
freelance, so
you're going to sit there, you're
don't
going to
matter.
fall asleep until you hear the Chicago Bears pick, you're going to get all crazy, and you're going to sit back down, and you're going to probably end up leaving.
We'll see. I don't think it's cool to say that my phone wasn't the fact that the decision is wrong. I think the guy is an idiot. I think there's nothing wrong with having technology go from one building to another. You don't need a freaking imbecile to run back and forth
That's
to
the
freaking places.
that's the
But that
stupidest
doesn't- that
idea
doesn't
I've
mean
ever
you
heard.
have to change the whole weather of the whole city.
Right, you don't have to change the whole city. Just keep it in New York.
I'm done with New York.
New listen,
York's fan base is overrated.
I'm not happy
Bandwagon
that they
fans.
televise.
They talk about tradition, but they gotta stick up their ass.
Hey, Josh, I'm not happy that they're televising it in the first place. Okay?
How about if they pay you some really good money and then they allow you to run back and forth a piece of paper? They'll say, we'll pay you well. We'll pay you a lot of good money. You can have some breaks, but we'll pay you well, and you can run a piece of paper.
I am not going to go to Chicago in April or May and spend my time there. No, I'd rather I'd rather be in sunny San Diego where I know it's going to be beautiful. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
First of all. Okay? Second of all, I am not getting out of breath and running all over the freaking place, back and forth for the NFL. I'm not that much of a fan of the NFL to do that crap. Okay? So that ain't going to work for me.
What do you mean, Jeff? Then you can finally have a chance to be eye to eye with Roger Goodell and kind of sit down and say, what are you doing screwing up the league for?
Is Roger Goodell the worst commissioner of all sports?
I believe so.
He and Gary Bettman, and Bud Selig.
No, I
Those are the
think
top
I
three.
know. Well, Bud Selig's not commissioner no more, so you can't even put him in there. But I think so because he's forcing NFL players to retire before the age of 30. You had
I think it's actually a smart decision. Actually,
You had 4 players
With the
this
concussion
week.
Stuff.
4 players this week under the age of 30 retire. Are you kidding me?
It's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've been so busy with all the stuff with the wrestling, so I've been able to catch up with all the NFL free agents.
Is that nuts or what? Okay, now, Josh, since you're on the air, I'm going to pick my bone with you before we go to commercial.
All right.
Okay? We have our Sports World Radio's NCAA tournament pick'em pool going, correct?
Yes.
You joined up, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason why you joined twice?
Because I got 2 different emails, invitations for it.
Okay, which one do you want? You're only allowed to have one, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You knew that was coming, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because Sean and I had a discussion before we went on the air today. I said to him, what did I say to you, Sean?
You said that whenever we've done fantasy sports, don't you think it's wise that that a player should only do one account instead of signing up with 2 accounts?
I asked him.
Hey, man, double jeopardy. Who knows? Maybe I could pick
Double jeopardy.
Yeah, I can win this pool.
Okay, you know what you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna change one of those and give it to Frank.
The big chubby win at Yahoo.
Big chubby win. Yeah, I'll just change it inside.
All right.
Okay, I'll change the email and we'll let Frank have that so he's automatically in.
All right.
Because that rat bastard will never sign up. You know that, right?
All right, I'm gonna head out to the chat room. All right.
Okay, thanks for calling in, buddy. There you go. There's our program director and producer of the show, Josh Lopez, coming in and picking a bone with us, and I was picking one right back at him.
Yeah, there you go. Glad to be in. But anyway, we go back to this story with the New York Jets, Jeff.
You must be loving that, Sean, huh? You must be loving that. That you lost 2 major players to both New York teams, didn't you?
Makes me very angry. Shane Vereen goes to the Giants and Darrell goes to the Jets. What a crack! What's up with that crap?
Where's your friend Kathy?
She hasn't even shown up because I messaged her last night and she says that she's not happy. A lot of Patriot fans are not happy.
Okay, you tell your friend Kathy.
Disappointed.
You tell your friend Kathy, even when bad things happen to her favorite teams, she still has to show up at Sports World Radio. Okay? Hey, Wes, where are you at?
Wes? Yeah, and where's Gary One Arm at?
All you people don't want to play no more, huh? Your teams aren't that good and you don't want to play no more? That's not right. Oh, Wes just messaged me on Facebook. I sent him a message about the tournament. So he's going to be looking for the tournament so he can join back in. So we'll see what's going on. I'm on Facebook, boys. If you want to message me, instead of typing into the chat room, go right ahead. We're on Sports World Radio. You can message us over there, or you can, if you're on my list, you can message me right on Facebook and ask me any questions you want.
Another big move that happened with the New York Jets, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been traded from the Houston Texans to the New York Jets today. So now, Jeff, the question is, who, with that new coach of the Jets, does he make as the starting quarterback of the team? Ryan Fitzpatrick or Geno Smith?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
So you think Geno's days are done, and it's like Ryan Fitzpatrick. But the question is, can he get the Jets maybe as a wild card and make them maybe a 500 team next year? They haven't been to the playoffs since 2010.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a better quarterback than freaking Geno Smith. You're telling me that the Jets just got Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yes, that's breaking news that just came into ESPN Sports World Radio, that Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to the New York Jets in a trade because the Texans traded him.
Wow. There's lots of things going on.
And check that one right over here. Here you go, Jeff. Here it is.
There's a lot of things going on in the NFL. Something else just happened, too. There's lots of things going, man. The NFL just doesn't stop going, does it? Andre Johnson signed with the Colts.
Yes.
How about
Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson signs with the Colts?
Yep. That just came in, too.
Wow, that's freaking everything's going on, huh?
Yeah, Andre Johnson, as you pointed out, signed with the Indianapolis Colts. This is a 3-year contract with Indianapolis.
Freaking
so Andrew
nuts.
Luck has a big receiver to go to next year.
He's liking that, huh?
Colts are going to be a team to be very careful of in the AFC. Jim Irsay is not wasting his team. The team signed not just Andre Johnson, they got Frank Gore. That was a 3-year, $12 million contract. Johnson and Gore both played at the University of Miami.
Wow. There's lots of things going on, man. People are moving and grooving and grooving and moving. Hey, did you see any of that press conference with Chip Kelly today?
I didn't see the press conference with Chip Kelly, but when Josh and I Skyped and we were kind of going over the show and talking things over, Josh was like, what is the matter? What's the problem with Chip Kelly with all this stuff that's going on? Browning, I know you are here. I just saw you pop in. I know, Browning, you are not a happy man with what you've seen because they get Sam Bradford, they lose LaShawn McCoy, and they lose Nick Foles. They've lost some real big pieces. I didn't see it.
There's a lot of movement going on right now, man.
What did Chip Kelly say, Jeff, when you watched it?
Well, people asked him if he knew what he was doing.
Oh, wow.
Chargers got Orlando Franklin.
That's right.
Yep. Signed guard Orlando. They need frontline help, man, bad.
Josh, this is a story for you since you talked about Jay Cutler. Chicago Bears general manager Ryan Pace and head coach John Fox changed their previously non-committal tune regarding quarterback Jay Cutler on Wednesday, announcing he'll remain the starter as the Chicago Bears prepare for the 2015 NFL season. The question, Jeff, is can Cutler get them over the top and try to get them deep into the playoffs in January?
Well, it could be a lot of freak. He's costing them a lot of money.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yep.
He's costing them a lot of money. Right?
Yep. Lots of money. And this is going to be a move that will test how John Fox leads this team. It's his first year as the head coach of the Bears. The big question is, can he do what he did in Denver? Because Fox has done a pretty good job as coach. He did a good job with Carolina. He took them to the Super Bowl in 2003. He took the Broncos to the Super Bowl. He turned that team around. So can he do it in Chicago? Josh, I'm pretty sure you would say absolutely yes. The Bears needed to get rid of this coaching situation. Think about how rough last year was for the players when the media, when they got booed by fans, and the Bears really didn't like getting booed by their team, by the Bears fans.
Philadelphia just agreed to a 3-year deal with Ryan Matthews for $11.5 million with Philadelphia. How about that? So Ryan Matthews left the Chargers and went to Philadelphia for 3 years.
Wow.
How about that?
A lot of stuff going on, man.
Man, it just doesn't stop, does it?
Yep.
Pernell McPhee went to the Bears, outside linebacker. It's just not stopping. It's just like a machine, man.
Browning says the Philadelphia Eagles should have really gotten Frank Gore, but oh well.
Oh, well. Yeah, he went to he goes to Indianapolis, so now they'll kind of have a running game, won't they?
Colts will have a running game. They'll have Andre Johnson. Colts are going to be a team, and I can't wait when NFL Real Talk starts in September. We'll be talking a lot about the Colts.
Colts have their three, right? They got their freaking quarterback, they got their running back, and now they got their wide receiver. They got their big three, right?
Yeah, like Frank said for the show yesterday, the Colts are a team that is a few years away. Maybe, I don't know if they can do it this year, but in a few years you could see Andrew Luck walking out with the Lombardi Trophy with the Super Bowl, because they have just upgraded their whole team and just really are a team to watch out for.
Oh, look who's in the house now. Mr. Wes has arrived just as we're getting ready to go to commercial. Wes, when we get back from break, I'll address your Pittsburgh Steelers. You're listening to Jeff Escow, Sean Mann on
Sports World Radio.
We'll be right back.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Stay fire safe this winter. Turn portable heaters off when you go to bed or leave the room. Keep anything that can burn at least 3 feet away. Plug portable heaters directly into wall outlets. Inspect and replace damaged cords, broken outlets, or loose connections. Use portable heaters with an automatic shutoff so that if they tip over, they turn off. Only use portable heaters approved by a recognized testing laboratory. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov. This message brought to you by FEMA. Be fire safe during the holidays. Only use decorations that are non-flammable or flame retardant. Check holiday lights each year for frayed wires or excessive wear. And do not link more than 3 strands. Never leave a burning candle unattended. Consider using battery-operated flameless candles which look and smell like real candles. If your celebration includes a natural tree, keep it away from any heat source or exit. Water your tree daily to keep it from becoming dry. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Glad everybody could be with us today. We got a jam-packed show. Now, all you people who just showed up in the chat room, sure, you come in after we finish ripping your teams. Like Wes is here, Andrew is here, Kathy is here. All you people decide to show up after we rip your teams? What the hell's that all about?
Wes has just been talking nonstop about Pittsburgh, this and that, and he says, Jeff, this is the year the Pirates win the World Series.
I hear
buddy.
you know
Get
what?
ready for it.
You know what, Wes? I've been hearing that for the last 5 years. The same thing has been coming out of your mouth for the last 5. This is the year the Pirates win. This is the year. You know something? It ain't going to happen. All right? So stop daydreaming, will you, bro? Can't you just get it through your thick skull? It's just never going to happen.
He's laughing. He's going, ha, 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 Jeff, in the Berg.
Don't forget to join our NCAA Tony Pick'em that's coming up. Here is the link in the chat room to join. If you haven't joined our NCAA Tony Pick'em, the NCAA tournament begins next week. So get ready. Join our league so you can see if you can win prizes. Now listen, Mr. Pirate fan, you live in the Berg. When was the last time the Berg won anything?
The last time that a Berg team actually won a championship
was the Penguins.
Yeah, I believe it was the Penguins back in 2009.
Yeah, well, that's not a real team anyway. It's hockey. Come on, that's not a real sport, for Christ's sakes.
Steelers have not won a Super Bowl since 2008.
Right, exactly. Okay. When was the last time the Pirates won? 1975, right?
1979.
1979. That ain't going to happen. Come on. Pirates, listen, he says the same thing. This is the year the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to win the World Series, baby. Every year. And what happens? They don't do it. You just keep, you know what? You remind me of Jerry Jones in that respect. He says the same thing like you. That's the year Dallas Cowboys are going to win. And what happens? They don't do it.
Hey, he says, hey, Jeff, we are family. Listen to that song.
No, we're not family. I guarantee you that right there in a nutshell, we're not family. Closer and closer. You know what? Closer and closer don't mean crap. Closer and closer. Big deal.
Wes has probably been thinking all along. He says, hey, Jeff, you got to remember in 2013, the Pirates ended a 21-year playoff drought, and they actually took the Cardinals to a fifth game.
We're getting closer and closer. Big deal. The only thing that counts when you're close is hand grenades and horseshoes. Okay? Nothing else counts. We're getting closer. Big deal. Hey, the Patriots lost a lot of players, man. They lost two major players to both New York teams this year. How about that? How do you like them apples there, Kathy?
You had the bone to pick with me about that.
You like those apples there, Kathy?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, look at him. Oh, boy, look, now he's bugging Kathy. What the hell's the matter with you?
And Wes, I remember, has even said he's never recovered from when the Chargers should not even have made the playoffs. Now the Steelers got screwed the last weekend of the season.
Tough.
2013, and here it is, 2015.
I know. He's still talking about that. 2 years ago. Wham, wham, wham. Hey, I got an idea, Wes. Move on.
Wes says Jeff does, like Wes was even, I remember Wes saying, Jeff doesn't know anything about football.
Yeah.
Remember the couple of inches? I even wrote a letter to Roger Goodell, and I got a letter from Goodell back.
I got your couple of inches right here.
Josh goes, Pittsburgh sports wasted away again, Margaritaville.
Exactly right. Could be all this hoopla and hopla for nothing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Because you know what's going to happen? The same thing that happens every year. They're going to be sitting at home watching the World Series just like the rest of us.
Wes says, yeah, just wait till you see what – he'll probably think, oh, yeah, just wait, everybody. Pirates win a World Series. I'll get you all championship Pirates gear. Oh, I'd hate that.
Yeah, right. Lots of luck with that one.
Mail it to Jeff in his studio and be Josh.
Lots of luck. Lots of luck.
That would be just a typical Wes man doing that, going out and buying Pittsburgh Pirates. Look what he says. The Steelers' offense will break all NFL records.
All of them. All of them. Every single one of them.
And Wes, I do seem to remember that Jeff beat you last year. Remember what he picked the Giants and your team is the Pirates? What happened in that one-game playoff, Wes? The Pirates lost 8-0.
Yeah, one game to see if you can get into the playoffs. They didn't even get into the stinking playoffs. The hell out of here. Huh? Huh, Wes?
Wes is saying everyone's going to win a championship in 2015.
No, they're not. How much you want to bet me? Hey, Wes, okay, you know something? You just watch this, Wes. Here. You're saying that the Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins, all three of those teams are going to win their championships this year in 2015? Ain't going to happen. not going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Never going to happen. Okay? I'll bet anything you want.
And Wes, what happened when the Steelers lost too? I didn't see you a lot on Facebook. I even tagged you and wanted to mention your name.
I'll bet anything you want, buddy. Anything you want at all.
Wes goes, Pirates will be in the division title.
No, they won't.
And they'll win the World Series. And Wes says, Jeff, the Steelers will win the Super Bowl 50.
You know what, Wes? Let's put our shows on the line.
Oh, here we go.
You got a show and I got a show. Put your freaking money where your mouth is. Put your show on the line. If your three teams win, no more show for me. If your three teams don't win, no more show for you. Let's see how much cojones you really have for your teams. Come on. Let's see how much cojones you really have for your teams.
All right, so this is a bet that we got. That the bet is
he's not going to take the bet. You know that.
Yeah, but it would be like this: if he were to take the bet, know how you are about ifs, Jeff. He would probably say, I could take your bet and see that Sports World Radio never comes back on and G-Fix show lasts longer than Sports World Radio, or Sports World Radio will last longer than the G-Fix show. So our shows are on the line, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, of course, but he's not going to accept that bet because he's got more to lose than I do.
He says, Jeff, ha, 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 you got Chargers.
I don't have Chargers. I have Giants. Okay? Well, hey, listen, I'm always willing to put my money where my mouth is. I'm always willing to put the show on the line, ain't I, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always willing to do it. I've done it more than once, and guess what? The show is still here.
That's right. Jeff's always done it, and he's usually actually has always won.
Because the show is still here, ain't it, brother man?
Yep.
That's right. I put the show up on the line more than one time, and we're still doing it.
Wes, I won't even want to be around you when the Steelers and the Penguins and the Pirates are not even in the playoffs and lose and get booted out.
I'm gonna laugh the laugh of the laugh.
Just like last year, I'll never forget. I watched that game, and then Jeff texted me and said, Giants are beating the Pirates, Sean. What did I tell you? And I got it, and then you were right about that. 8-0, and I was like, oh, poor Wes.
I'm going to laugh the laugh of the big laugh. I'm telling you, man. It's going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be just like it is every single year.
Look what Wes says. Penguins are on fire in the net. Watch out.
Penguins are on fire in the net. Who cares? What place are they in right now, Sean?
Let's see. The next story we get to, we move to the National Basketball Association.
Hey, hold on 1 second, Sean. Hey, Wes, if you hang on until the top of the hour, I know for a fact that our hockey guru, Ron Gallo, is coming on the show today. Okay? I will make sure we talk about the Penguins. So you sit there and you pay attention because I'm going to rip him as he talks about them. He's coming on today. I talked to him earlier. I know he's coming on today. We got Ron Gallo, Sports World Radio's hockey guru, coming in. So the whole second hour is going to be nothing but hockey talk. Hey, Shaba, let freaking Laura know that Ron Gallo's coming in today, and we're going to talk hockey for a whole hour. I know how she is about her hockey, so get her ass in here. All right, Sean, sorry.
All right, the next one that we have for a story, we move to the National Basketball Association. The Los Angeles Lakers, as we all know, are eliminated from playoff contention. It's been happening since day one. They lost. Their elimination marks only the 7th time in franchise history that the L.A. Lakers will miss the postseason, and only the 2nd time that they've missed the playoffs in consecutive seasons, which was 1974-75 and 1975-1976.
Wow.
So I know Magic Johnson was saying before the season began that he would hope that L.A. would lose every game. Looks like he's getting his wish.
So it's going to be a fight for first place between L.A. and New York?
For the lottery pick, I would say so, yes.
Fight for the worst record in the league between the L.A. Lakers and the New York Knicks. When was the last time you were able to say that?
For consecutive seasons. I can't remember when.
Well, right now the Knicks are 12-51, and the Lakers are 17-46.
Pretty awful.
Yeah, the Knicks are worse. And you know what I read an article the other day that the Knicks are thinking or looking into maybe if they get the first pick, maybe giving it up.
It might be the best choice for them, considering where they will be in the off season.
I think they need that first pick. They get that first pick. They got tons of money to bring other players in. I really do think they need that first pick.
I really do too. And Josh goes, Lakers basketball equals college football.
He's right. It's you know what? Watching the Knicks and the Lakers play is like, I bet you want to know something, and this is really going to be bad to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I bet you the Kentucky basketball team could beat the Knicks and the Lakers.
I agree with that. And on that note, we have to run to the first of two updates.
This update is brought to you by The Flipper. If you're tired of touching your toilet seat to lift it up or lower it, head on over to flipperflipper.com and get your flipper today and never, ever touch your toilet seat ever again to lift it up or to lower it. It's called The Flipper, and it's at flipperflipper.com. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the first update of the day.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, to the first of two updates. 45 minutes after the hour on the 11th of March, 2015. National Hockey League. Sabres taking on the Maple Leafs. Rangers at the Capitals. That game is on the NBC Sports Network. And lastly, it'll be the Ducks taking on the Flames. Remember, at the top of the hour, Ron Gallo coming in to give perspective on these games and all the biggest headlines in the National Hockey League. In the NBA, here are the games that we have for tonight. 10 games. Kings at the Hornets. Bulls at the 76ers. Grizzlies taking on the Celtics. Nets at the Heat. Magic at the Bucks. The game on ESPN tonight, big one. Clippers taking on the Thunder. Could that be a playoff preview? It's possible. The Hawks taking on the Nuggets. Timberwolves at the Suns. Pistons at the Warriors. And lastly on ESPN, it'll be the Rockets taking on the Trailblazers. In the NFL, the big news continues to be all the big headlines. First, Darrelle Revis signed with the New York Jets a $70 million contract since the Patriots decided 48 hours ago to decline his option. So now he's leaving New England and heading back to the place where it began for him. Darrelle Revis played with the Jets from 2007 to 2012. Another big move by the New York Jets. They also added Ryan Fitzpatrick from the Houston Texans because Houston traded Fitzpatrick to New York. The Indianapolis Colts, they've been very active. They not only got Frank Gore, but they also got Andre Johnson. So a lot of moves going on in the National Football League with a lot of teams making a lot of trades and a lot of signing, and this is all the concept of the free agency. Update is brought to you by The Flipper at flipperflipper.com. We're going to head to commercial break, and when we come back, more sports talk with Jeff Escal and Sean Mann.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family. We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. All right, so before we went to break, we were talking about...
Before we went to break, we were talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. And, Jeff, consecutive losing seasons. You're saying that maybe the Lakers and Knicks know that, okay, we're terrible, we're not good this year, but we can start battling it out for the NBA lottery, which will be happening in May.
Yeah, them and the Knicks are going to be battling it out, man. It's going to be crazy. I hope the Knicks get the number 1 pick, and I hope they keep it. I really do.
Phil Jackson has a lot of work to do, and the Lakers, they've got all kinds of work to do trying to figure out what they're going to end up doing with their team.
Yes. And they got a lot of money to use to do it, which is nice.
And a lot of the Hollywood celebrities, you don't see them coming out very much anymore for the Lakers after what's been a disastrous season. If anybody's going to watch an NBA basketball game in Los Angeles, you might as well just focus on the Clippers since they're trying to overtake L.A. since they've always been the little brother, the
Right.
Clippers.
Yeah, Clippers are doing their thing.
Yep. After everything they dealt with for the Clippers going back to last year with Donald Sterling.
Look at Shaba. Shaba says Lakers and Knicks need to pull a few Chip Kellys of their own. Well, I hate to tell you, but the Knicks have tons and tons of money. So they can pretty much afford anybody they want, and then they get a number 1 pick. That's going to be awesome.
The other big story headline which made news, the red-hot Cleveland Cavaliers, Browning, they continue to prevail. They are 22-5 now in the last 27 games. They go into Dallas last night and blow out the Dallas Mavericks 127-94. The Cavs right now 41-25 overall. They've been talking about it pretty much all day. That's why I shut ESPN off, because everybody says, watch out for the Cavs. They're clicking.
Well, they're clicking at the right time, and I hope they go on a losing streak before the playoffs begin.
The Cavs are finally playing like everybody expected them to be after what's been a really interesting first half where everybody thought they were going to fold, and Jeff and I even thought they were because they looked pretty bad and like in the 7th seed. But all of a sudden now, the Cavs continue to roll. They are now the 2nd seed. They lead the Bulls by, I think it's like a half game, 2-game lead over them in the Eastern Conference. Oh, look at Browning. Hey, LeBron James, Jeff, King James.
Yeah, King James. Yeah, see, he's not a Heat fan or a Cleveland fan. He's a James fan. So wherever James plays, that's the team he roots for.
Oh, gosh.
That's not an NBA fan. That's a player fan.
He's a LeBum follower.
Exactly.
Browning's all happy about it. And Browning, Cavaliers win the finals this year. Oh, I'm going to be sick of having to listen to you again because you were happy that LeBron won his 2 in Miami and now he wins 1 in Cleveland. Good grief.
He's not really see, look, Andrew's not a true basketball fan. He's a LeBron James fan. That's all he is. He's not a true basketball fan. Whatever team LeBron James played for us, that's the team he roots for. Last year, he was all up in Miami, this and that. Now LeBron's over in Cleveland. Now he's all up in Cleveland. So that just proves that he's a LeBron James follower, not a true NBA fan.
He says, Jeff and Sean.
I know, I'm right. Exactly, I'm right. Exactly.
Yeah, you should have seen it. Like the first time I conference called with him on the Facebook Skype. Well, yeah, Skype's from Facebook. I Skyped with him, and all of a sudden Browning showed me his LeBron James Cleveland Cavaliers jersey. And I'm like, oh, gosh.
No, that just proves that he's not a true LeBron James basketball fan. He's a LeBron James fan.
Yep.
That's all it proves.
It proves it, and it shows it.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden he calls him King James. And I'm sure, Browning, you would probably agree with Skippy about how Skippy came out and said that LeBron James deserves to win the MVP for the NBA.
Yeah, lots of luck with that.
The Bulls, they're the number 3 seed. They're 39-26. Toronto, 38-26. Washington, 36-28. And the Bucks, they're the number 6 seed. They're 33-30.
33-30.
Indiana, they are 29-34. And Charlotte, 28-34. Miami is still hanging around. Miami is... Boston is, Brooklyn kind of, but they would still need to make a lot of things happen. But those are the teams that are kind of battling it with Charlotte for the 8th and final playoff spot, battling it out.
Battling it out.
Dallas, though, loses. They've dropped to the number 7 seed, which means San Antonio is right now the 6th seed, and Oklahoma City trying to hold off the New Orleans Pelicans.
Trying.
And, Jeff, you're amazed that the Pelicans are doing this well.
Correct. I am, and I kind of like that they're doing this well, and they're putting the heat on the New Orleans Hornets. I mean, they're putting the heat on the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And Shabba's all happy about it, right, Shabba? Because you're the big Pelicans fan.
Yeah, I'm happy about it too. I want to see the Pelicans give Oklahoma a run for their money. I really do.
Oh, that drives Nicholas insane.
I really do. Oklahoma's, in fact, the Pelicans overtook them, didn't they?
They are right
now. The
now,
Pelicans are 36-29, and Oklahoma's 35-28. So they're pretty much tied.
Oklahoma City is leading by a few percentage points for the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference.
I'm looking at it right now. 556 percentage points for Oklahoma, 554 for New Orleans.
I'm watching it, yep.
So it's interesting. New Orleans is putting a hammer down on Oklahoma. Even though Oklahoma's playing so good and Westbrook's doing his freaking thing, they still haven't made the playoffs yet.
The question with Phoenix, though, is can the Phoenix Suns have a chance of getting into this Western Conference? They're sitting only a few games back. They got 508 for percentage points, but they're like sitting 3.5, 2.5 back of the last playoff spot.
And Oklahoma City plays the Clippers tonight. I want to see the Clippers beat Oklahoma City tonight, and that'll push the Pelicans in the number 8 seed and push the Oklahoma City to the 9th seed. How great would that be?
I'd like that.
How awesome would that be if Oklahoma don't make it and Pelicans do?
Nicholas won't appreciate that.
I would love that.
Shabba goes, it's a virtual tie. Yeah, it's going down to the wire. I agree with you.
I would love that. I know Nicholas won't love that. Shabba would love that. And I think that would be great.
Be great for the NBA.
Yeah. I think so. I definitely think so. And then if they make the playoffs, you got to consider him hard for most valuable player of the year. For MVP. You gotta.
Indeed.
You gotta. And I'm tired of seeing LeBron get it. I hope he don't get it this year.
Amare Stoudemire, who plays with the Dallas Mavericks, said after last night's game, going to them, he is disgusted with the way the Mavericks playing. They are 5-6, the Dallas Mavericks are, since the All-Star break arrival for Amare. And the big question now is time starting to run out again for the Dallas Mavericks? I would say so. And, yeah, great job, Mark Cuban, with you pointing out and saying, let's play the NBA till July. Look how bad your team is playing right now. 41-25. They'll make the playoffs, but I don't expect to see Dallas get very far.
I don't either. I mean, if Dallas was in the East, they'd be better off. But they're coming out of the West, and the West is, whew.
After the embarrassing blowout in the game, Amare Stoudemire ripped the Mavericks. He goes, quote, we've got the right personnel. We've got enough veteran leadership on this team to compete. We've just got to have that mindset to want to step it up and truly compete in this tough Western Conference.
Yeah, they have to. Everybody's got to step it up. If you want to compete in that Western Conference, you better step it up big time.
Dallas has been going through a lot of other situations. They struggled with implementing poor shooting point guard Rajon Rondo into the offense after making a blockbuster trade with Boston on December 18th to acquire him. The face of the franchise, Dirk Nowitzki, is trying to fight through one of the worst shooting slumps of his career. The Mavericks are dealing with injuries to center and emotional leader Tyson Chandler, who's playing with a sore hip. Key reserves good luck with that one, and Devin Harris, who has a hand injury. So Dallas, Jeff, if I'm Mark Cuban, I'm really beginning to have a big question about this year's team and what the Mavericks need to do. They need to figure out, maybe get bounced out of the playoffs and try to look for some pieces. They got to do something. Mark Cuban knows that it's kind of getting up there for a drought. We haven't won a championship since 2011.
Should be, right?
Yeah, and Amare Stoudemire ripping the team. Rondo not getting along very well with the coach. I know Smokin' Ronnie sent me a message on Facebook Messenger. He said, Sean, I want Rondo to go back to Boston. This guy is trouble. And I said, yeah, I heard all about his trouble with Doc Rivers when he was with the Celtics, too. Smokin' Ronnie isn't happy about Rajon.
Oh,
Rondo.
well. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Top of the hour break coming up. Ron Gallo.
Ron Gallo's coming in. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Sports World Radio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion? Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone? It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday, right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Now joining us like we promised, like he does each and every Wednesday in the second hour of the show. That's right, I said second hour because we do 2 hours every Monday through Friday. Ron Gallo, the hockey guru, the Canadian connection. What's going on there, my friend?
You guys are crazy. 2 hours. That's like going into double overtime.
2 hours every day, man. Right. Well, you know what? Sean's going on vacation tomorrow. Today's his last show until Monday.
Okay.
Guy goes on vacation more than Carter's got liver pills, man.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you know what? I wish I could have had a couple of days off. The Prince George Spruce Kings advanced through the first round of the postseason and are into the second round of the playoffs. They're going to play in Chilliwack on Friday, Saturday. I was hoping to get down there and do some play-by-play.
No go, though, huh?
No go.
Josh
people sick at work.
Josh says, hey, Jeff, Ron, and Sean, I did 3 hours this morning, LOL.
Not my problem.
That's triple overtime, man.
Yeah, but you don't do 3 hours every day, do you?
No. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's true.
Monday through Friday, that's 10 hours.
10 hours a week, my friend. Plus, he does 2 hours here every day. Plus, he's got to, produce this show and stuff. So that poor kid works his butt off. Josh. You know what I mean? Okay, so we got Ron Gallo, the hockey guru, on here. And I just nudged him a little bit in one way while we were all on hold waiting to come on here. Hey, Wes, I know you're working out, but I hope you're listening. Here we go, bitch. Hey, Ron, what's going on with the Pittsburgh Penguins?
They're kind of slipping. Now, they've got an overtime win under their belt from the other night. But, they're just... They're holding on. They're in the third spot in the Metropolitan Division, which assures them a spot in the postseason if the postseason were to start today. But they've got a couple of teams that are challenging them and want in. The Washington Capitals are right there with 82 points, and the Boston Bruins are right there with 78 points. What will happen is if Pittsburgh gets bumped out, then, of course, they end up in a wild card spot, and then they're in a race for Florida and Ottawa. Honestly, Pittsburgh Penguins fans, you're safe. You're going to make it to the postseason, barring a complete meltdown in the last 4 weeks. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, I'm not sure that they've got it going on right now and can get through the first or into the second round.
Wes was saying that the goalie was playing very well right now. Is that true?
Marc-Andre Fleury is doing well. Sidney Crosby is doing well, but they haven't been high-scoring games. And you need... There's so many teams that are doing this. We saw a great game the other night between Tampa Bay and the Montreal Canadiens that went to overtime and became a 1-0 victory for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's a low-scoring affair. They say that low-scoring affairs create too much tension, both on the bench, in the field of play, and also in the stands with the fans. And that's why basketball seems to not be as tense until the last little bit of the time. Anyways, not to get off track, the Pittsburgh Penguins have some very key members in their lineup that need to score a few more goals, bottom line. And they've got some great games coming up. There's no reason why they can't put together a couple of big wins. They had the 2-0 overtime decision with the San Jose Sharks just earlier this week. They play the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. They play the Boston Bruins on Saturday. Then they move over for Detroit on Sunday, New Jersey Devils on Tuesday, Dallas Stars on Thursday. The Edmonton Oilers, they're not going to give them a run for their money, but if they take them too easy, then they could be, it could turn ugly. The Boston Bruins, Sean's going to like this, have started to kind of inch back into things, and they are actually looking pretty solid again. The Detroit Red Wings, same idea. The Detroit Red Wings are 1 point back of the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Eastern Conference right now. They do have one game in hand on the Pittsburgh Penguins, so it'll be a big game Sunday afternoon. That game should be on NBC, by the way, Jeff.
Okay.
And then next week, they've got those two games that, again, they should be big games for the Pittsburgh Penguins against the New Jersey Devils, who really, they've been ousted. They're not going to make it into the postseason, and the Dallas Stars, who are fighting for some good playoff positioning in the West.
Coming down to the wire, isn't it? How many games are left in the season?
I'm counting somewhere around 82. So I'm counting around a dozen. Some teams are looking at 13 games. Others have 14 games. I'm thinking that's where we're at, is 14 games.
Okay, and they put the record up by points, not by win-loss record, correct?
No, it's not a win-loss record. It's simply points. You get 2 points for a win and nothing for a loss, and you get a single point for an overtime loss, whether that be in an overtime or in a shootout.
That's stupid.
The last game of the National Hockey League is April 11th, which is Saturday, Jeff. So we don't have far to go, and then it'll all be about the seedings and seeing who everybody plays in the quarterfinals.
So if it's all about points, why do they even bother to put the win-loss record up there?
Well, because that's where the points come from. Okay, so we were talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Correct.
They've played 66 games.
Correct.
They've got 38 victories.
Right.
Which the 38 victories, that's good for 76 points.
Okay.
And then they've got 18 losses.
Correct.
And then 10 overtime decisions, which are good for another single point. So the losses don't mean anything, right?
And
You
that's how
get
they-
0
and that's how
points.
they
You
got
get a
their
single
extra-
point for the overtime decision.
Right.
So there's 76 plus 10 is 86, and that's where the Pittsburgh Penguins are sitting. It's interesting that you ask about the win-loss record because I saw a great documentary on the weekend about how stats are becoming a little bit more ingrained in the game of hockey. Everybody knows that the sport that uses the stats the most is what? They're in spring training right now.
It's baseball.
Baseball has stats galore. They've got stats for left-handed, right-handed pitchers and catchers and batters and ambidextrous players. The stats are just crazy.
Yeah,
they've
but
got
Ron,
stats. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've got stats will break down how a pitcher performs on a sunny Sunday afternoon versus a cloudy Monday night.
Correct. But you know what? They have that in the NFL too because they play outside as well and indoors as well. But the reason why I ask, if they're going purely just on points, screw the wins and losses. Just put the games played and put the points up there. Who gives a flying fig Newton? Personally, I think they should go on wins and losses. Screw the points. Just go on wins and losses.
And again, it's interesting that you bring that up because there's another thing that's been coming up ever since international play, especially with the Olympics, and that's turning games into 3-point games. If you win in regulation time, you get 3 points. If it goes to overtime, you'll share the 3 points. That's what they're doing now. They're sharing 3 points in overtime. If you win in overtime, you get 2 points. It's considered a win. If you lose, you get a single point, and it's considered an overtime loss. So the argument is that if there are 3 points potentially to be shared between two teams in an overtime decision, why are there not 3 points in a regulation or a regulation time decision?
It's ridiculous points. They're the only league in the world that gets decided by points.
The points are an extension of the win-loss column, though.
But still,
the one that throws me off, if I can, Jeff, real quickly, is go back to baseball again for a second. The game's back. Like, how do you end up with a half game back?
The same way you do in baseball, same way you do in basketball, because they play so many freaking games.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, what you're suggesting, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. Look at the Montreal Canadiens. Look at the Boston Bruins. Okay. Right now, the Montreal Canadiens have played 67 games. Boston Bruins have played 66. If you're looking at win-losses, you have 42 wins, 18 losses for the Montreal Canadiens. You have 34 wins and 22 losses for the Boston Bruins.
Correct.
There's a huge separation. So in your calculation, would that mean that the Boston Bruins are 8 games back?
No. In my calculations, well, yes, they are 8 games back. Yes, because they're 1 game in the loss column and whatever it is in the, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yes, they're 8 games back. Now, Tampa Bay, Montreal's sitting at 42 and 18, correct?
Correct, and Tampa Bay's 42 and 20.
Correct. Montreal should still be in first place. Tampa Bay would be 2 games back because they're 2 games in the loss column higher.
Okay. Where the differences come from is that third column, the overtime column, where there's an overtime decision.
See, they need to get rid of that column. Okay? Whoever wins the overtime.
A loss is a loss.
A loss
Doesn't
is a
matter
loss.
when it happens.
Exactly. A loss is a loss and a win is a win. Don't care if it happens in overtime or regulation. Get rid of that freaking column.
Okay. So there's the other people, like I said, the other argument is you look at the number of overtime games that have been played.
Lots of them.
Right. But let's say the Montreal Canadiens and Tampa Bay, they played earlier this week. They played an overtime game. So there's 3 points at stake as it stands right now. 2 points went to Tampa Bay because they won 1-0, and a single point went to the Montreal Canadiens. You're saying then that Tampa Bay would have got a win, Montreal would have just got a loss.
Correct.
Okay, so now using the 3-point scenario, Tampa Bay gets 2 points, Montreal gets a single point. If that was in regulation time, Tampa Bay would get 3 points and Montreal would get none. So are the points then skewing the relative numbers of the team's performance?
Correct. I believe so.
Okay.
Interesting. I believe so. I mean, if they're going to go by points, there's no reason to have the win, the loss, and the OTL. Just put the games played and the points up there and move on. Because you're not going by the record of the wins and losses. You're going by the record of the points. So
there's still some interest, though, in how many games a team has won.
Why? Does it make a difference in the standings? Does it make a difference in the standings? Because obviously it doesn't.
Take out the point structure.
Obviously
it doesn't.
If you only have
wins and losses, and all it is a tally point, and it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean 2 points or 3 points or anything like that. Then no, I suppose they don't mean that much. If you look at two teams that are in the Eastern Conference, okay, let's take the top two teams from each division. The Metropolitan Division has the New York Islanders and the New York Rangers sitting at top with 90 points and 89 points.
Correct.
The difference here is the New York Islanders are the team that's played the most games so far. They have 69 games played. They have 43 victories. So the Montreal Canadiens, when we look at that in Canada, if you follow the game of hockey, what you see is you see that the Montreal Canadiens are they're actually 1 point ahead of the New York Islanders, and they still have 2 games in hand, even though they have one less win than the New York Islanders. They have 3 more overtime decisions, and that's where the extra point comes from.
It's so freaking stupid.
Sean wants to go to commercial break. Jeff, maybe if we have some more time in this hour, we'll revisit this, okay?
All right. You're listening to Jeff Escow Show, man, and Ron Gallo on
Sports World Radio.
We'll be right back.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Stay fire safe this winter. Turn portable heaters off when you go to bed or leave the room. Keep anything that can burn at least 3 feet away. Plug portable heaters directly into wall outlets. Inspect and replace damaged cords, broken outlets, or loose connections. Use portable heaters with an automatic shutoff so that if they tip over, they turn off. Only use portable heaters approved by a recognized testing laboratory. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Man, and Ron Gallo joining us in the second hour of every Wednesday show like he does each and every week. We're talking about the standings in NHL hockey using the points versus using the win-loss record. I personally think they need to use the win-loss record, throw out the freaking overtime stat too. Whether you win the game, it goes in the win column. Whether you lose the game, it goes in the loss column, whether it's an overtime or not.
I agree. Complete joke. And I would say forget about playing a 5-minute overtime in the shootouts. Why don't you just save the overtimes for the playoffs? They're a lot of fun and very exciting.
Instead
and
of
course,
playing
very
a
stressful sometimes for both teams and fans.
What do they play, a 5-minute overtime period?
Yeah, that's what they do. After the game comes to an end, they play a 5-minute overtime. If the game ends in a tie after an overtime, then they go, Jeff.
No, see, Bettman's screwing that whole thing up. Bettman's screwing that whole thing up. It should be a regular freaking period time. Whoever scores
Which
first
is what they
wins.
do in the postseason. But
correct.
Sean, I might have misheard you, but you're saying do away with overtime altogether in the regular season?
Yeah,
you can't.
No, you can't.
Well, what I'm getting at is play 5-minute overtime and screw the shootouts. Forget about them. Play 5 minutes and then forget about doing a shootout.
The point, okay, now this goes back to, I don't want this to sound negative because I'm not a negative person, but this goes back to when the hockey was trying to get something to gravitate to in the American market, and people were looking at trying to find a way of getting the viewers' eyes on the television screen while the game of hockey was being played. And one of the complaints that I have is that it was decided by the television executives that the game of hockey, if you allowed it to go to overtime until there was a goal scored, you would lose viewers because the game was taking too long. So they did a couple of things. Number one, they sped up how quickly it is till you get the next face-off. They brought in some different delay of game type rules, like the puck over the glass, so you couldn't just clear the puck over the glass. There was a couple of other rules with the icing calls and everything else. But everything was designed to speed up the game. Everything wanted to get this game down into a compact little time frame, closer to a 2-hour window. And if it had to go to overtime, now you have that unenviable task of how do you keep the viewers entertained? Overtime is the most exciting thing in any sport. I don't care what sport it is. But in hockey, for some reason, the executives thought that overtime was making the games too long, so we couldn't have a natural overtime where you played 5-on-5 until somebody scored. They took a player out, so you played 4-on-4. They shortened the time frame, forced the teams to try and figure out how to score a goal within 5 minutes. If you can't score in 5 minutes, well, what we're going to do is we're going to send 3 players from each team to a shootout. And the only thing now that can go on and on and on is the shootout. We saw it just the other night where it went 11 rounds. So the first 3 shooters have to shoot. All 3 of them will shoot unless there's mathematically no way that third shooter or even the second to last shooter is going to be able to win the game. That's never going to happen. First shooter on the team scores. Next shooter misses for the other team. Second shooter for the first team that has the 1-0 lead in the shootout scores, makes it 2-0. That fourth shooter, the second one for the second team, will get to shoot. If he misses, the game's over, right? Because you don't need to take that third shot for the team. They already lead 2-0. The other team's not going to come back. It's over. But if it's tied after the 3 shooters for each team, you keep going round by round by round where both teams get a chance to have a shot in the shootout. And if a goal is scored and then the goal is scored and matched by the other team, you do it again. If it's stopped and the next shooter is stopped, you keep going until you've got a winner. We saw that go for 11 rounds. We've seen it go farther. Marek Malik of the New York Rangers, I'm not sure if you remember this, Jeff, but he shows up every once in a while on Sports Central, and he's doing the Statue of Liberty pose. That's right after he was the 17th round shooter for the New York Rangers and won the game over the Washington Capitals.
Wow.
Jeff, your thoughts about the whole thing with the shootouts for overtime?
I think they should just do 20-minute overtimes and whoever scores wins. If they don't freaking score, they keep freaking going.
And I don't disagree with that. That's what they do in the postseason. It's played 5-on-5. There's a full intermission between regulation time ending and the start of overtime. So you still get a full intermission, you come out, you've got 5-on-5 play, and you go to work. And
Didn't they do that
they
back
changed it from sudden death to sudden victory. It's now called sudden victory overtime. Politically correct people didn't think that sudden death was positive for the sport's image, so they called it sudden victory.
That's stupid. Did they do that back in the 80s?
Yeah.
They just kept playing until somebody won?
That's exactly right. And it was just after that that ended. And again, it was because of television executives deciding that the game needed to be over in a window of time. And they wanted that window of time to be 2 hours. Now, my question for you, and this is where I was going with my rant, I'm getting off my soapbox now. Basketball can go on forever. I've seen triple overtime in regular season play.
Or even quadruple overtime.
No, I know. And hockey's kind of like that as well. So it just should keep going and going and going until somebody wins.
Baseball, I've seen it go 17 innings before you've had a winner.
I've seen baseball go 22 innings, man.
That's right. And I've seen baseball even go 18, 19 innings. So it's just, and they're stressful, especially for playoffs. When you think about watching your favorite team play in overtime, and then it's like, oh, you're just hoping that they win, or if they lose, it's going to be devastating. But then, thank goodness, the stress is over, and it's the same thing with extra innings. That's how it rolls sometimes.
I remember growing up watching the Islanders playing overtime after overtime after overtime after overtime.
Mm-hmm.
All the freaking time.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, hockey got shortchanged thanks to some television executives who thought that they needed to squeeze the game into a specific window of time.
Well, that's wrong.
And I think that they've changed the game, because if you think about it, what are we talking about? We're talking about sports, football, where you've got all the players on the field. We're talking about sports like basketball, where you have all the players on the court. We're talking about a sport like hockey, which is played with 6 players on the ice for each team during a shift. Now in overtime, all of a sudden, you're taking one of the players out. If nobody scores in overtime, now all of a sudden you've turned a team game into what? An individual sport. It's one-on-one. It's one player facing the goaltender. A lot of people have gotten over that issue and like a shootout for the excitement that a shootout can bring. Mm-hmm. But still, what has been done to the sport of hockey is that they've compressed it time-wise. And at the end, the thing that got you to the most exciting part of the sport, overtime, is now diminished. It's no longer a team sport. It's an individual sport.
And see, Shaba in the chat room says, as a total freaking hockey rookie here, I think the shootouts are a hell of a lot interesting than the 5-minute overtime.
Again, they absolutely are. Watch Chicago. Watch Patrick Kane. Sorry about, Chicago fans. I know Patrick Kane's out of the lineup right now. But watch players like Patrick Kane and, Alexander Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby. These players like Stamkos, they can put on a clinic in the shootout because they don't have a defender to worry about. They've just got the goaltender to beat.
Right. Exactly.
Anyways, speaking of goaltenders, I think I have enough time to throw this one out. Did you guys hear what's happening in Florida?
No, what's happening?
Well, they've got some goaltender issues. Roberto Luongo is going to miss out on a few more games. Their backup goaltender has been hurt. So they actually started a promotion where the fans could try out to be a backup goaltender for the Florida Panthers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's strange. Hard to believe that would happen.
It was earlier in the month of March, but Luongo is still out right now. But what they're calling this promotion is the goal of a lifetime, and it'll give one lucky Panthers fan the opportunity to sign a one-day amateur tryout and serve as a Florida Panthers backup goaltender for a day.
Wow. That's freaking great.
Yeah.
Man, if I was younger, I'd go for it. If I lived on the East Coast.
You and I both.
Yeah, if I was younger and I lived on the East Coast, I'd go for it. You kidding me? I used to play goalie in street hockey.
Exactly. I used to play goalie in college.
So, hell, man, I'm too old now. That's
But
pretty
anyways,
cool,
I thought
though.
I would throw that out there. It's an interesting little twist for the Florida Panthers. And speaking of twists, I mean, in all of this, Florida is still vying and holding on to hopes of finishing in a wild card spot. If it wasn't for the fact that the Boston Bruins have picked up six big points from earlier in this last few days, earlier in the week, Florida would be right there with the Boston Bruins. So, Boston.
Need it, Ron, before we go to that second and final update, because I've been watching and saying, Florida, please lose. I just want the Bruins to be further ahead so they can get that other spot clinched.
Yeah, no, and the game of hockey, it is what it is, right? That's the old cliche.
Yeah.
I'm sure it rings true in every sport. But the Florida Panthers, when it's in injuries like that, especially between the pipes, they're hard to recover from. I mean, you can't just bring in a third-string goaltender and expect them to steal the show. A good goaltender can win you a game even when nobody in front of that goaltender is doing their part.
Right.
And you know that, Jeff. You know that, Jeff, from just your days of putting on the big pads.
Right. Exactly.
Anyways, I'm going to give this to Sean now.
All right, Sean, you ready to go to our final update of the day?
I most certainly am.
All right, this update is brought to you by The Flipper. Head on over to flipperflipper.com and get your Flipper today. Never, ever touch your toilet seat ever again. Head on over to flipperflipper.com and get your Flipper today. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the last update of the day.
All right, Jeff and Ron, thank you very much. 30 minutes after the hour. It is the 11th of March, 2015, Wednesday. We are live, and we have got a lot of stuff still left to get to with 2 more segments left. But first of all, we got this update. NBA, here's the action we got going on right now. The Kings are playing the Hornets right now. It's 20-19. The Kings leading the Hornets, 2 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first quarter. The Bulls and the 76ers, that game is evened up at 22, 1 quarter complete there. Other games we have coming up in the NBA tonight, you got the Grizzlies taking on the Celtics, Nets at the Heat, Magic at the Bucks, Clippers taking on the Thunder. That game is on ESPN, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 5 p.m. Pacific. The Hawks taking on the Nuggets, Timberwolves taking on the Suns, the Pistons at the Warriors, and lastly on ESPN will be the Rockets taking on the Trailblazers. In the National Hockey League, here are the games that we have right now, 3 of them. The Sabres lead the Maple Leafs 1-0, 9 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the first period. NBC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, a big game in the Eastern Conference. It'll be the New York Rangers at the Washington Capitals. And I know, Ron Gallo, you'll be getting into that, especially since that's a big matchup in the Eastern Conference. Another big matchup has the Ducks taking on the Flames. That's another pivotal matchup for both teams, for points and for playoff seeding. In the Major League Baseball, of course, it was spring training action today in the Grapefruit League. The Blue Jays over the Orioles 5-2. The Rays beat the Twins 5-2. The Red Sox have an easy time against the Yankees, beating them 10-6. The Cardinals over the Braves 6-2. Nationals over the Tigers 9-2. The Pirates and the Phillies, that game goes to the Philadelphia Phillies 3-2. The Marlins beat the Mets 7-4. In the Cactus League, 4-4 between the Rangers and the White Sox. The Royals, they prevail 4-3. The Athletics and the Indians, that game goes to the Athletics 3-2. Rockies 4, Mariners 1, Cubs 4, Dodgers 3. Royals again winning that doubleheader for spring training, 5-2 against the Reds. Brewers 6 and the Giants 3. And lastly, the Diamondbacks over the Angels 6-5. NFL real quickly. Some of the big headlines making note. The New York Jets were very active yesterday and today. Yesterday, the Jets picked up New England Patriot Darrelle Revis. Originally, Darrelle Revis started his career with the Jets, playing there from 2007 to 2012. He wins a Super Bowl, and now he goes back to the team where it all began, which was the Jets. The New York Jets also made news today, getting Ryan Fitzpatrick in a trade with the Houston Texans. The Indianapolis Colts, another team that's been very active. Not only did they get Frank Gore, they also picked up Andre Johnson. Another big news, the Chicago Bears have come out and said that they plan to make Jay Cutler their starting quarterback for 2015, and they expect to be real active with it. That is the final update for Sports World Radio. This update is brought to you by the Flipper at flipperflipper.com. When we come back from commercial break, more hockey talk with Ron Gallo, Jeff Eskow, and Sean Mann.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think.
Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Eskow, Sean Mann, and Ron Gallo bringing you the fastest 2 hours of sports talk each and every Monday through Friday right here on SportsWorldRadio.com. All right, so where are we going next there, Mr. Ron?
Well, let's talk about a couple of different things with the standings in the NHL. But instead of starting at the top, let's start at the bottom because the Buffalo Sabres are in action tonight. And they are the bottom team in the NHL out of 30 teams. And not very far away from them are the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing what's going on in Toronto, but definitely the bottom has fallen out. I've got an interesting story coming up about one of their forwards, one of their young guns. But surprisingly enough, the Buffalo Sabres are leading the Toronto Maple Leafs, as Sean mentioned, 1-0 right now. The Buffalo Sabres, their record is pretty dismal. They haven't even got 20 wins on the season yet. They're 19-42-5. If you were talking about points back or games back, in comparison, we're talking 23 games back of the number one team, the Montreal Canadiens.
The Montreal Canadiens, that's correct. And, Buffalo, it just seems like when Lindy Ruff left that team, it seems like the Sabres, it's just like with them, they really haven't been the same after he left, and just a disappointment. And, of course, it's amazing when you think about it, Ron, that you mentioned in a previous show that I think it was last Wednesday, you pointed out about the Maple Leafs. Despite the fact they're having a bad year, they're still selling out their games. It's still amazing that they still keep doing that.
They do, but there is an interesting post. I'm pretty sure it's as close to an April Fool's joke as you can get. But you know that there's 27 out of 30 teams that have some kind of a mascot for their team. Okay? Might be a trivia question. What are the 3 teams that don't have a mascot? But the Montreal Canadiens have Carlton the Bear. He looks like a white polar bear. And the tweet goes, I want a trade. So the mascot is asking out of Toronto now, and he cites the reasons being He can't get the fans to do the wave because it's all a bunch of suits. He can't get the kids to be excited because the team is losing. And it just goes on and on and on. And he even says that the fans leave the building faster than Phil Kessel can move on a back check. But it's kind of interesting and funny all at the same time to see how things are so bad and I've said this before, Sean, but the center of the universe in the hockey world is Toronto. And they are in fourth to last place right now in the NHL. They are 15 points better than the Buffalo Sabres. That's how bad the Buffalo Sabres have been this year. It's dismal. They are a minus 98 for goals for and against. Think about that. That's 100 goals more scored against them than they have scored themselves.
The question with Buffalo is that with what do they need to do when the season gets over? What do you think is the big moves that they have to make to be a better team after this year is over with?
They're going to have to look at, are they in rebuilding phase? And I'm going to use that term because the second to last team in the NHL is the Edmonton Oilers. And the Edmonton Oilers have had the number one pick, according to my calculation, 4 out of the last 5 seasons and have been able to do absolutely nothing with those top draft picks. So the Buffalo Sabres stand to have an opportunity to take the first pick overall in the upcoming summer's NHL entry draft. What they need to do is they might need to farm out that number one pick for probably 4 or 5 core players that can be used to build a team around. So I'm talking like gutting the Buffalo Sabres. I'm talking wholesale changes. I'm talking bigger changes with the personnel than even what I was suggesting a couple of weeks ago to you, Sean, with the Boston Bruins. With the Boston Bruins, they need to take and they need to cut off some of their salary cap and bring in some more younger talent. But with the Buffalo Sabres, you almost need to blow it up. It's throw dynamite on it. You almost need to blow it up. And if you get that first overall pick, don't take it. Sell it. Sell it and get something for it. Can one player, and he's being called a generational player, can one player be enough to turn the Buffalo Sabres around? Right now, I think the answer is no.
No, I don't think so either. I even posted in the chat room, Ron, that I expect that the Sabres, in my opinion, after what they have had to go through and with their transitioning and with Ruff getting fired, I would say, yeah, the Sabres are most definitely a rebuilding team. They're rebuilding. Now, real quickly, I mentioned in the update, and I'm sure you'll get to this, big game tonight on NBC Sports Network, the New York Rangers at the Washington Capitals. That is a big matchup in the Eastern Conference.
That's a huge matchup out east. I mean, look at the standings alone, and the New York Rangers are battling. With a win tonight, the New York Rangers will be tied with the Montreal Canadiens for top spot in the NHL. They will leapfrog over the New York Islanders for top spot in the Metropolitan Division. And not only that, they'll push the Washington Capitals again a little bit lower because, of course, that's a game that they have, and now they'll be 2 games more over the Boston Bruins or the Florida Panthers or the Ottawa Senators or even the Philadelphia Flyers, who are all looking for an opportunity to get into that wild card spot. This is a huge game for the Washington Capitals. I think it means more for Washington to win this game than it does for the New York Rangers. But certainly the New York Rangers will be very interested in finding a way of coming up with 2 points so they can take top spot in the Metropolitan Division and end up in top spot in the NHL overall.
Especially since Jeff is not a big fan of Alexander Ovechkin.
No, it has nothing to do about being a fan with Alexander Ovechkin or not. You know what this reminds me of? And I've said this already a couple of times this season. This reminds me of the 93-94 season when the New York Rangers won the President's Cup and then the Stanley Cup. You guys know what the President's Cup is, right?
Yeah.
The President's Cup is given to the team that finishes the regular season as the number one team overall.
Of course, that was a big year in '94 when you think about it. The Rangers win the Cup. They beat Vancouver in 7 games. And, Jeff, I know for you it was very painful for you as a Knicks fan. I don't even want to bring that memory up because you were pretty heartbroken with that.
Why do you keep doing that?
Okay.
There's one other
rule out
sport.
the Islanders. The Islanders are playing good hockey right now.
Do you know what else happened that summer? That was the same summer. In fact, it was it a day after or 2 days after? I think it was 2 days after O.J. Simpson was seen slowly speeding down the freeway in Los Angeles.
Jeff was very fed up about that.
I was very fed up about that.
They broke in with news coverage, and they showed pictures of that white Ford Bronco, and wow, everybody was watching.
Yeah, that's very upsetting.
Yeah, I think it was maybe even the day after the New York Rangers won the Cup. It was for sure no more than 2 days after the Cup.
I think it was, actually it was right around Game 5 of the '94 NBA Finals. The Knicks were playing the Rockets, and then they broke in with coverage about OJ and what had happened with the Ford Bronco, and then that was making the news, which caused a huge chain reaction because everybody was watching this thing just blow out of proportion.
Yeah. Hey, a quick update from Toronto. That Buffalo Sabres game and the Toronto Maple Leafs game we were talking about a few minutes ago. I think they should put some goaltenders between the nets. It's 2-2.
Is it really?
The Ducks and the Flames tonight. Here's another big matchup, Ron.
This one here could be a first-round playoff matchup, actually. This is the one that's interesting about the Anaheim and Calgary Flames. When you look at the West right now, Anaheim sits in the first spot overall. Calgary Flames are sitting in third spot. There's a huge separation, 14 points. That's 7 games differential between Anaheim and Calgary. The interesting thing is when you start looking at wild card anomalies and everything else, the Calgary Flames actually have less points than both teams in the wild card spot right now. Calgary has 77 points, while Minnesota and Winnipeg have 81 and 78. So the reason why I'm saying that this could potentially become a first-round matchup is because when they seed them according to points, Minnesota and Winnipeg would end up taking those spots above Calgary. Anaheim, right now, the tiebreaker, I'm not sure on the head-to-heads. They've got identical records, but if Anaheim wins the tiebreaker over the Nashville Predators, then Anaheim's first, Calgary's 8th. Guess what? You have a first-round playoff preview tonight out in the West with the Anaheim Ducks visiting the Calgary Flames.
Wow.
On that note, we got to run to our last commercial break of the day, and we got one more hockey segment coming up with Ron Gallo.
Wow, we got a commercial break coming. I didn't even put him up. How about that? I've been falling off my duties here. All right, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break. You're listening to Jeff Escow, Showman, and Ron Gallo on
Sports World Radio.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family. We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too. Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Jeff Sean Mann, and Ron Gallo joining us like he does each and every Wednesday in the second hour of the show, talking hockey talk for a full hour every single Wednesday. All right, Ron, so what do you got for us next, buddy?
Well, I mean, there is one thing I need Sean to do, and I'd like him to do it within the next couple of weeks. At the beginning of the season, Jeff, you and I and Sean sat down and we went through our picks for each division and looked at where we thought our teams or who was going to finish where and who was going to be playoff bound and who was going to be hoisting the Stanley Cup. I'm not sure if you remember that or not.
Correct, I do.
So I want to make sure that we dig that out. Sean was keeping tallies of it. And Sean, tell me that you can go and get that.
I do have it up right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we don't have to look at it today, but I mean, it would be interesting to spend a little bit of time and go through that, especially when we get probably under 3 weeks, which will be next Wednesday, under 3 weeks until the end of the season, because then both teams will be into or all of the teams rather, will be into their last 10 or so games, because everybody plays about a game every other night. So between now and next Wednesday, every team should be playing at least 4 games, which means that everybody should be in around 72 games played by next Wednesday, leaving 10 games remaining in the regular season, which will really start to show how the playoffs are going to shape up and where the real races are. Right now, I mean, the real race, I think, is in the West for a wild card spot. It's not in the East. And this is nothing against Florida or Ottawa or Philadelphia. But those 3 teams are not going to catch Boston. They're not going to catch Washington Capitals for the playoff or the wild card spots in the postseason run. The other 3 teams in each of the divisions are also very secure in the fact that they're going to be finishing in a playoff spot. The Montreal Canadiens have 91 points. Both the New York Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning have 90. Pittsburgh has 86 and Detroit has 85. And then, as I mentioned, Washington and Boston have 82, 78. Where it's interesting is in the West. The Minnesota Wild, 81. Winnipeg Jets, 78. Los Angeles Kings, 77. Hey, where have you seen this before, Jeff?
What's that?
Los Angeles sitting on the outside looking in at a playoff spot, but finding it before the end of the regular season and then hoisting the cup.
Well, they did that the year they won the Stanley Cup.
Exactly. They were sitting in at about this time in the season, they were probably sitting in 10th spot, two spots out of a postseason spot. Right now they are in 9th. And so they're like right there.
There were a few of us. Oh, I was just going to say, there were a few of us, real quickly, Ron, that did pick the LA Kings to win the division, but that's not the case right now.
They better get moving then.
Well, all they need to do is they just need one more point than Calgary. So guess who's cheering for Anaheim tonight?
Who's that?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, right. Yeah, that's right, because Calgary's playing Anaheim tonight.
Yeah, so LA is cheering for Anaheim as much as they would hate that. But, I mean, I don't think LA has any desire to try and figure out how they're going to catch Anaheim. They don't care.
No,
Anaheim's got 91 points. Los Angeles has 77 points. Winnipeg has 78, but Calgary has 77. Who do you think Los Angeles wants to catch first? They want to catch Calgary first, then they'll worry about Winnipeg.
Correct.
Then they'll worry about the Vancouver Canucks, and the next thing you know, you could be seeing the Los Angeles Kings by this time in 2 weeks' time. You could see the Los Angeles Kings sitting I don't know, 5th overall in the Western Conference.
Right.
Just, it's interesting. Like I said, there's some huge races, and the only teams that are really out of it in the West are the Arizona Coyotes and the Edmonton Oilers. Every other team still has a legitimate opportunity of making it into the postseason and catching a wild card spot. The Dallas Stars are only 4 games back. Colorado is 3.5 games back. San Jose is only 2 games back. And I already mentioned that the Los Angeles Kings are just really a point away from getting into a postseason spot.
Wow.
So that's how tight it is out west.
It's getting tight out west, isn't it?
It is. Toronto Maple Leafs. I hinted at this a little while ago. I'm sure it's almost every state rolls their clocks forward and backwards during spring
Except Arizona.
or time change.
Except Arizona.
Arizona, and in Canada, it's the province of Saskatchewan and a couple of small little regions in the northeast of BC. But anyway, so time change, spring forward, happened last weekend.
Right.
What ends up happening is that it's now an hour sooner than it's supposed to be. So right now, it's 5 o'clock, coming up on 5 o'clock on the West Coast. If there was no time change, it would be just coming up on 4 o'clock.
Right.
Anyways, Nazem Kadri ended up being about 15 minutes late for practice, and he says it was because of the time change, and he didn't realize it the entire Sunday. So he was late for the team meeting on Sunday, and on Monday he was sat. He was a healthy scratch for the Toronto Maple Leafs in their game against the New York Islanders.
Oops.
And as of today, this morning, before noon, Brendan Shanahan, who is the team president, has come out and said he is going to sit for 2 more games.
Oops.
Nazem Kadri is one of those young guns. He's 24 years old, so he's just a young kid. He was drafted 7th overall in 2009. This season, he's played 64 games. He has 16 goals, 20 assists, 36 points total.
They're teaching that young man a lesson.
He's one of those players you need to be in the roster. And now they're going to make him sit for 2 days.
Yeah,
in Canada, as you can imagine, especially in Toronto, there is a huge uproar right now. There's the people on the one side of the equation, and we're running out of time, so I'm going to ask you where you sit, Jeff. But there's people on one side of the equation that say you need to make sure you nip the problem in the butt because there's been too many players in the locker room that think that they're above the laws or above the rules, and the rules don't apply to them.
And that's what
then you have the other side saying, you're sitting one of the players that can help Toronto win a game. Are you trying to tank just so you can get the first pick overall?
No.
So it's kind of interesting, Jeff.
They're teaching him a lesson.
And that's the side that you're on, right?
Yep,
I mean, it makes perfect sense. But the media is blowing this so out of proportion that they're actually creating sympathy for the player.
Of course they are. That's what the media does. Not this media here on Sports World Radio. They're teaching him a lesson, and that's the way it should be. He's a young gun. He thinks he owns the NHL. Well, you know what? You don't, and you can't just do what the hell you want when you want to do it.
How about you, Sean?
I agree with what Jeff says totally.
See, and whereas for me, I mean, if you allow the excuse, what are you opening up your can of worms, right? And this is what you guys are saying. You're late for a team meeting. You got to sit. But the coach had already sat him for the game on Monday. Now, all of a sudden, it's the president of the team that's coming out and saying, no, he can sit for 2 more.
Well, then the president really wants to stick it to him and show him, listen, this is the way we run this organization. It's not just about you. It's about the organization.
Interesting thought.
He's sending a message to the kid that you can't run roughshod on this organization.
No, and the thing is, though, is that there's going to be a ripple effect. And one thing I want to state here before time runs out, and maybe you guys can force me to explain it in detail later, but Eric Lindros and what he did when he was drafted by the Quebec Nordiques, I thought that was a brash move, and you talked about owning the NHL. This kid came out and thought that he owned the show and demanded this and demanded that. He ended up doing it. He ended up giving 2 teams Stanley Cups because of the demands that he made, and the team that he ended up playing for, he ended up sewering them. Long story short, Nazem Kadri is not this type of player, but you're right. You don't want him thinking that, what he wants, he gets. But if there's a legitimate excuse, if there's a legitimate reason and he's already been punished, why is he getting his punishment extended? That's my question.
Because they're proving a point, and they're showing, and he's a young kid, so they're proving a point, and they're making sure everybody else in the organization knows that this is my way or the highway.
Last thought, some people think Brendan Shanahan's going to come out of the president's role and end up behind the bench and become the new head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I guess so, and if that happens, then really it's his way or the highway. Right?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got to get the flock out of here. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. Hey, Sean, you have a good time on your vacation, buddy.
Thanks, I will.
All right, and Sean's going on vacation. We got some fill-ins for the next 2 days. Sean will be back on Monday. Again, thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck, but the alternative is unacceptable. For Sean Mann, Ron Gallo, I'm Jeff Escal. This has been Sports World Radio. Peace out, bitches.
Later, and have a great evening.
Hey, boys, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, kid. So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?
The show's over.